Welcome in, everybody. And judging by the look here, thanks to our SkyTrack network observing the Paristown ice rink, it's not only looking like a winter wonderland, it is certainly feeling like it if you're stepping outside tonight. Talking about, let's see where our temperature gauge has us at. Ooh, a not so bad 27 degrees. We do appreciate you joining us for tonight's edition of Wave News Extra here in the Wave Now studio. I'm Jose Sosaya. Of course, the big story is what this first taste of winter wonderland for not even the winter of 2025, because remember, we're still actually in the fall season. But it did make for some wonderful sledding conditions across the metro. Temperatures expected, by the way, to stay low. A great time to take advantage of that chance to spend some time outside if you want to partake in the snow activities. These kids in Southern Indiana were out of school too. We caught some kids and students having fun from our SkyTrack network elsewhere, many of them taking turns sledding, sliding, doing their best to try to stay upright, but still tumbling down the hills of snow. Others opting to make snowmen with what they had. The Wave Storm Tracking Team, by the way, calling this a record snowfall for today's date of any December 2nd. We actually got up to 4+ inches in many different areas. Now, let's head over to another viewpoint at Cherokee Park. Lots of people enjoying sledding down the hill. We saw dozens come out, some zipping down the hill on their respective sleds, others using different kinds of transport down the hill. Never seen a mattress perhaps used in that fashion. Cherokee Park is home to one of 5 designated hills for sledding when we do get about 2 to 3 inches of snow in the metro. We met folks like Max Krieg, who says this is his second winter in Louisville for him and his dog, Dennis.
Dennis was pretty fired up during the last snowstorm. I'll like my wife and I will make snowballs, and then we'll throw them, and then he'll just like pounce on them and like look for the snowball, thinking it's an actual ball. But yeah, he loves it. It's like the best day ever for him.
Dennis's best day ever, and Max Krieg letting us know Dennis had never gone as far on a sled as he did today. So definitely a lot of firsts. A reminder that when we do prepare and take a look at these forecasts, and ultimately just letting you all be as prepared as possible for when the day arrives, and even looking into the days beyond just this initial snowfall, just to understand what's going to play out for the rest of the week. An amazing tool to have in your pocket, is literally in your smartphone pocket, is the Wave Weather app, which you can always download for free on your app store on your respective phones. The storm tracking team working hard day and night to get you the latest and most detailed, specific information for where you're living. Shout out to meteorologist Ryan Hogue for us on the night team, kind of walking us through that. If you join us for the late hours and looking into, perhaps the storm tracking team coming in for this morning and really paying close attention to what that snow forecast was going to be. So, reminder for the Wave Weather app, you can download the Wave Now app, of course, for your smart TV devices, the Wave Weather app on your phone. You can always get that information online as well on wave3.com. Real quick, just an update do we have in our ticker, because we do have the ticker up while we're in our newscast, and that's going to be the case when you join us tonight on Wave News at 11. Just some quick updates for parents, for kids in schools. 2 updates for Southern Indiana that we do have, just among the many that we are keeping tabs on, is for South Harrison schools. You're opening late Wednesday by 2 hours. Crawford County schools in Indiana, you're opening late Wednesday 2 hours as well. So we're looking ahead now for what Wednesday morning will bring. And from JCPS, the big update impacting so many thousands of families, all JCPS schools offices are going to go back to a regular in-person schedule tomorrow for December 3rd. Our teams have been working hard, they say, quote, to ensure our facilities and transportation routes are ready, and we're excited to have students and staff back in our buildings. So understand what that is going to entail for JCPS families looking ahead to tomorrow. Now, real quick, as we'll check in on an update here, this is respective to JCPS families. Students had their first NTI day because of the snow. The district was forced to actually reschedule tonight's community forum because of this weather. So yeah, tonight's forum has now been moved to Thursday at the Stewart Auditorium. That's inside the Van Nuys Education Center. It's still going to be from 5 to 6. This is part of our recording from the first of these 3 forums. Now, tonight was supposed to be number 2 of 3 scheduled opportunities to talk about the district's proposals for closing schools, relocating, or consolidating others. The district is considering doing this to tackle a $188 million budget deficit for the next school year. Another meeting is happening tomorrow at the Academy at Shawnee. If you can't come to these meetings, remember you can still send in written comments through a form posted on the district's website. The proposals are expected to be presented to the board on December 9th for a final vote. Quick updates, by the way. This was the big story we had for you last night. Our sports team getting that latest and greatest information was the big revelation that not long after Mark Stoops had been fired after a pretty disappointing season for Kentucky football, the school stepping in really quick, finding their candidate. Will Stein, officially named the UK head football coach, has been our headlines in sports. Make sure you follow all of our latest reporting updates on wave3.com. And you can always check in on what we have published on our website. Will Stein, of course, if you're familiar with card football, you understand he has his background having played at the school and his own Kentucky and bluegrass connections with family here as well. So certainly a story that is developing, and we'll make sure to share as much as we can with you once we're finding out. Tonight, we're also hearing from the family of a little 7-year-old girl. She was killed in a hit-and-run crash. If you remember this reporting we shared with you, it happened on Taylor Boulevard this weekend. Well, in their grief, they're now hoping they can make this road where it happened a little safer, not just for pedestrians, but for drivers as well. And to that end, in his latest report tonight, Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Francescini is sharing their heartbreaking story.
Taylor Boulevard, right next to Iroquois High School, is considered by many a dangerous stretch of road. In fact, Metro leaders say some people will be driving through this area at more than 100 miles per hour. And police say speed played a major role in Sunday's deadly hit-and-run crash. According to LMPD, a juvenile male was driving at a high speed when he hit a utility pole right in front of Iroquois High School. Police say the car then crossed all lanes on Taylor Boulevard, slamming into another vehicle that was driving south. In that car were 7-year-old Madison Marie Fisher and her grandmother. Madison later died at the hospital. Her family says they're now fighting so that Madison's death isn't in vain.
No school dances, no first love, her first heartbreak, graduation, marriage, everything is gone, frozen in time at 7 years old. And for what? Because you wanted to make a choice and drive like a maniac?
A Vision Zero Louisville project will reduce that stretch of Taylor Boulevard Road from 4 lanes down to 3. Construction on that isn't supposed to start until the spring of 2027. Metro Councilwoman Betsy Ruiz says state funding is needed to move that project forward. Fernando Garcia Francescini, Wave News.
I hope you stay with us, as we'll have much more with tonight's Wave News Extra, including some updates on a wrongful death lawsuit now filed on behalf of 2 victims of the deadly UPS plane crash. Their families hiring even the legal help of a local law firm and just breaking down the allegations that they're putting down in their filing, as well as updates on companies trying to get back to their respective offices as crews have been diligently trying to clean up any of that debris that's been left. Looking into this update about testimony brought to state lawmakers when it comes to a task force relating to the crash as well. Much more we're going to get into over the course of these next half hours and into the next hour for sure. So hope you stay with us as we're going to take this break and be right back with much more of tonight's Wave News Extra. All right, everyone, welcome back in. Worth taking another quick glance at our Paris Down SkyTrack camera, just reminding us, in case we're not sick of the snow just yet, just how wonderful and white it is looking, and the temperatures will probably keep it there for a little extra time. So we're going to definitely discuss that throughout the night and coming up, of course, on Wave News at 11. Well, in updates relating to the tragedy of the UPS deadly plane crash, we've learned this afternoon 2 families are planning to file a wrongful death lawsuit following what happened. And we've learned the 2 firms involved. They are Clifford Law Offices of Chicago and the Sam Aguiar law firm based here in Louisville. So they are filing the first wrongful death lawsuits tomorrow on behalf of Angela Anderson, a mom and a customer of Grade A Auto Parts, as well as of Trina Chavez, a mother and employee of the same company, Grade A Auto Parts. The business was part of the area that was impacted when the UPS plane 2976, when VIT crashed on November 4th, killing 14 people and injuring 23 more. Now, the lawsuit itself claims negligence against several companies. This includes UPS, GE, who manufactured the engine, and VT San Antonio Aerospace Incorporated. That is the company responsible for certain inspections and maintenance before the crash happened. Now, you're aware the FAA, not long after the crash, grounded all MD-11 aircrafts. It's the same type of plane that, crashed, as we saw those awful videos and images and pictures. As this investigation from the NTSB is still continuing, attorneys, though, say they're going to reveal a little more details about the lawsuit during a news conference, and that is happening tomorrow at noon. We'll make sure to share that as much as we can in real time. So make sure to follow us on social media as that is all playing out as well. Now, to that end, and trying to see if I could find, there we go. I was looking for some different video to play. So we're just going to see if I can send that up. This is just a little bit of editing on the job sometimes for this live stream. Okay. Got to get that video playing for you there. Okay. And so to what I was getting at for an update tonight also, if you can believe, it's been almost 4 weeks after the crash. More businesses on Grade Lane have now been allowed access back to their respective properties as LG&E works to restore gas services. Some businesses on streets like Melton, Knopp, Hawkins, and Able Avenues were given the all clear to resume what they call third shift operations as of last night. The crash, again, the background you're familiar with. Today, we also heard an update from Metro EMA Director Jody Myman on what is the next step, understanding that they gave the okay for these businesses to already start moving in last night.
As businesses want, starting last night, every night they're able to come in and operate business, again, with the business owners and the employees only, to come in. And it also grants, once they're out of the area by 7 a.m., it gives our contractors the ability to come in and perform their regular cleanup operation in daylight hours. So it's a really exciting update, and we were able to do that, and several of the businesses were able to take advantage of that last night. So we're moving forward.
Now, crews are still working to recover pieces of the wreckage. There are about 150 contract workers here in Louisville sifting through that wreckage and collecting as much evidence as they can. Coming back here into the studio, we also heard praise this afternoon at the state capitol for Louisville's response to the UPS plane crash. The head of the Louisville Regional Airport Authority gave state legislatures an hour-by-hour account of how people were working together to, one, get the massive fire under control, and two, to then restore the air traffic that is the commercial operation, even for cargo, but also for those passenger and domestic flights. What our reporting team heard today was an assessment of what was described as an extraordinary response to a terrible disaster, a story of how people ultimately were working together. And to summarize all that, Wave News reporter David Mattingly has the details from the state capitol.
And again, I can't say enough about how everybody looked at this as we have something we have to do. There was no territory, there was no turf, there were no silos. Everybody was on the scene, working together and coordinating.
Just short of 1 month since the crash of UPS Flight 2976, the appreciation for the response continues to emerge. More than 50 fire companies responded, but the focus was not on how many people or how much equipment was involved. It's how everyone worked as one, relied on their training, and did their part when it was needed most. Louisville Regional Airport Authority Executive Director Dan Mann spoke only briefly, talking lawmakers through the first minutes of the response to a massive fire to the restoration of air travel the next day. On the committee, State Representative Rachel Rourke of South Louisville described how it was a community effort full of personal connections.
I had family members who responded, folks that also work in emergency services and also nursing who were prepared to take on victims. And so it was really a community impact, and everyone felt it in some way. And we saw a lot of folks step up.
And our thanks to David Mattingly for that report. Another point that was also made today among that hearing and discussing that and with lawmakers is that we continue to hear more frequently is that while still that so much has been accomplished in the aftermath, there's still plenty to do to what will feel like getting close to fully recovering from the scale of the tragedy in and of itself. All right, it is 8:22 tonight. We do have an update from our troubleshooters because it's also been about more than 6 weeks since several students were hurt. And when I give you the background of the video, you're going to remember this is when the bleachers collapsed at a high school soccer game. Wave troubleshooters had still been starting to work, and they're still working to find out exactly what went wrong. Well, the bleachers at Wagner High School were built to code and designed to withstand the required amount of force. However, records obtained by our troubleshooters show there was an engineering analysis, and it blamed the students' behavior for overloading the strength limit of that railing. Let's show you some images here. So there's some new photos from the engineering report, and they show that the railing post itself cracked at the bolt hole that connects the bottom railing to the post. So no other parts of the bleachers were damaged. The engineering firm hired says it watched the videos showing the collapse, and this is the video we are referring to. It said there were 2 rows of students pushing on the railing from above, as well as students pulling on that railing from the field. And you've got the different angles of what happened there. So the force altogether overstressed the design strength. The engineer said there were no other recommended repairs other than to simply replace the railing itself. Bring you back here into the studio. If you join us around 5:30, letting you know there was this sort of interesting update given the parallels between Louisville and Lexington. We're going to start with what I'm discussing with Louisville and its jump into new drone technology when emergencies do pop up. So if you remember just this July, we were there to see Metro Police and firefighters test drive a first of its kind drone response program in all of Kentucky. The goal ultimately being that crews who use this can get real-time video of a scene before they even arrive to the physical location where the emergency is happening. So tonight, what we're going to show you, thanks to our reporting team through our network, is Lexington firefighters, talking to them, hearing about the specific software they're going to rely on through their own deployed drones when they do get a call for help, proving to be a game changer as they're describing it. Reporter Madison Porter shows us how the technology is going to help both the firefighters and help keep the community safer.
Drones may not carry fire hoses, but they're giving Lexington firefighters something even more valuable, a safer way to assess dangerous situations.
We can see different images on the drone that we normally couldn't see as the naked eye. So it gives us an advantage on structure fires.
The fire department started launching drones at the beginning of this year. Battalion Chief Chris Warren says they're equipped with heat detecting technology that helps crews quickly determine the size and location of the fire.
The incident commander can make better decisions of positioning people in the house to stop the spread of fire, where we normally had no idea other than reading the smoke.
The features like night vision and thermal cameras come in handy for fighting fires, but also other special operation calls that come into the Lexington Fire Department.
We can turn the thermals on at night, get up above the neighborhood, look and see the entire neighborhood and see if we see anybody walking. We can actually make contact with them through the drone. We've got lights, we've got speakers on it.
Drone pilots only respond when requested, and weather like rain and snow can keep them grounded. But when they do get airborne, their value extends beyond the emergency itself.
If the building's too damaged, we're worried about a collapse, we can fly that little drone inside, take 4K video of everything inside, and use it for the investigation.
While the drones have only been used a couple dozen times, Warren believes it will become a heavily utilized tool in the future.
All of a sudden, it's turning out that is becoming crucial to what we're doing.
In Lexington, Madison Porter, WKYT.
All right, everyone, bringing you back out here as we're going to, before we take this next commercial break here on Wave News Extra, just a reminder of the temperatures. I'm going to activate the toggle so you can see the temperatures we're going to be discussing throughout the night at 27 degrees and a view of our Paristown ice rink for sure. Before we go to break, a quick shout out to the folks joining us on Facebook, for example, and YouTube as well. There seems to be some commentary from a viewer in Brazil. Much closer to home, we've got Viola Rose from English, Indiana, and Crystal from Rhineyville. So thank you both for tuning in, and hope you stay with us as we're going to have much more to discuss, including some Louisville Metro business for council members to discuss, an update with the Independent Monitor as well, new library, or the remodeled library now going through its grand reopening, and much more to discuss coming up on tonight's Wave News Extra. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, we're back for tonight's Wave News Extra. Always appreciate you connecting with us, whether that's through Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or X. Folks like Candace joining us on the live stream. So thank you for joining us, Candace. We do have much more to get to tonight, including an update from Metro and getting to this particular piece of, there we go, I had this set up for you. So, in an update in the story we've been following in its different iterations as far as Louisville's new independent monitor and observing police policies and procedures, there's been a leadership shakeup within the organization that's been handpicked to serve as that new independent monitor. The group is called ELIFA, Effective Law Enforcement for All. The acronym is ELEFA. They were chosen to help Metro leaders implement the community commitment, which is the new version of the consent decree. Well, Michael Harrison was leading Louisville's independent monitor team, but Mayor Greenberg announcing today that he is leaving ELEFA for other opportunities. And to step into that next role would be Cherie Briscoe Stewart. She's a retired deputy commissioner of the Baltimore Police Department. Stewart is meeting with Metro Council and members of LMPD in the coming weeks, we've learned. And Mayor Greenberg also saying the change in leadership is not going to slow down or alter anything that the Independent Monitor Coalition group itself was prepared to do. Now, staying with Metro business, council members have voted to advance legislation out of committee to amend the city's existing mask ordinance. So this was after a special meeting of the Public Safety Committee last night, and a majority of members voted to advance legislation that would add, quote, federal, state, or local law enforcement officers to Metro government's existing mask ordinance. Now, this measure was prompted by reports of ICE agents regularly wearing masks, engaging in enforcement activities, concealing their identities during planned immigration raids. This proposal from Metro says it is moving forward for discussion at Thursday's Metro Council meeting, which will surely be there to provide, again, real-time updates, statements, everything that comes out of a potential decision from that Metro Council meeting on Thursday. Speaking of Metro, today we also were there for the grand reopening of the Portland Library, which had been undergoing some much-needed renovations. And this is a day after we learned Louisville's main library has to shut down, and it's been shut down so it can go through its own renovations. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote takes us through this newly redeveloped and reimagined building.
Officials say these updates renew the library's ability to connect with people.
The Portland Library is now open for the first time in more than 2 years, and it's got a new look. The library was originally established in 1905, but has been in this building on Northwest Parkway since 1913, the third oldest in the Louisville Free Public Library system. Crews restored the historic part of the building and also added on 5,400 feet of space. Changes include a larger collection of books and materials, additional computers, a separate children's and teen area, and it's more accessible with a new elevator, aiming to honor the building and the neighborhood's history while opening the door to the future.
I know that this place is going to allow people to come here and they will branch off to be authors, doctors, lawyers, because of the materials placed here in this library that will not only give them dreams, but these dreams will become their reality.
These celebrations continue back here at the Portland Library on Saturday, December 6th from 10 to 2 for a family fun day. There will be a family story time, free activities, and giveaways. Reporting in Louisville, Kirsten Foote, Wave News.
Now, on this Tuesday, after, of course, the spate of different holiday days, starting with Thanksgiving and Black Friday and beyond, well, today is what's called and known as Giving Tuesday. It's the day dedicated to giving back to communities by donating money to local organizations who do good. The Goodwill Opportunity Center being one of those organizations. Now, we also happened to be there when the center received a $10,000 check to do the work that they do. Morgan & Morgan of Kentucky partnered with U of L quarterback Miller Moss to donate the money on this Giving Tuesday. Officials say they were drawn to this center's dedication, aid to the Louisville community, and how their programs and partners are helping impact people in West Louisville in a positive direction.
Even though we're very big, we're very local, and we're here and committed to the people of Louisville, and to the city, and we love this place. It's great to us. We love the community, and we want to continue to give back and be impactful.
Giving Tuesday always takes place, by the way, the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And to that end, you can help out organizations here in our community still. There is time, as I look at the clock, 8:34. WAVE itself, we're partnered with the Red Cross Kentucky region. If you wanted to support the work that they do, you can scan the QR code that we're playing on your screen, whether that's even as you're streaming that on your phone, wherever you might be, or on the Wave Now app from home. There's a link to donate. You can also give back through volunteering, and you can make appointments. A reminder that blood and platelets are still greatly in demand, even at local levels. Here we are at home. This year alone, the Red Cross says it helped thousands of families devastated, at least on a Kentucky level, by back-to-back flooding and those tornado events this spring across both Kentucky and in southern Indiana. So we would, of course, encourage in whatever way, shape, or form you could contribute would be an amazing contribution that way for sure. All right, we're going to reset for one last block of stories to share with you, very much in the vein of giving back. This is the latest entry in our What's Good franchise here on Wave News, and discussing sort of now the challenges and hurdles of perhaps you're interested in buying a new car. Our consumer investigators looking at just how much more expensive that has gotten over time. And a very odd last little story to share with you about waking up after a very rough night if you're any kind of mammal, and we'll leave the little tease for you that way. So hope you stay with us for one more round of stories tonight on Wave News Extra. We'll be right back. 8:38 on this Tuesday night of December 2nd, and appreciate you folks staying with us for this live stream of Wave News Extra. Always great to connect with you in that way. And here at Wave News, we also continuously work to highlight what is going on that is good in our community, very much in the branding of what's good. For a gymnastics team out of Elizabethtown, making sure that other kids like themselves have Christmas gifts for the holiday season isn't just about what is good. To them, it's about what is right. So Wave News anchor Brian Schlonsky tagged along as these young gymnasts shopped for 50 local kids, the last 50 on their community's Angel Tree. This is Brian's visit with them.
It makes me feel really happy because I just think about like all the boys and girls that don't get any presents.
They may be young,
We got clothes, a Monster High ball. We got some pajamas.
but these Becca's Place athletes are old enough to realize they've got it good.
She needs winter clothes.
And they know that some of their friends at school in the Elizabethtown area aren't so lucky.
I think about the children who don't get the necessities that and how we get all of the things that we want and we need, and these kids are struggling to get things that they really need. So.
And we want to make sure we get everything for them.
Yes,
that they need,
that they want, and that they would like.
This holiday season, this group of young gymnasts made their way to Target, loading up bags of gifts for their Angel Tree shopping event.
So they get to be part of that experience and learning about, the value of $1, but also that gymnastics, kids who are in gymnastics, that's a luxury. And these kids that they're shopping for are just looking for necessities. And so I think that's a really important lesson to teach these young athletes.
Jennifer Ryan is the co-owner of Becca's Place Gymnastics in Cecilia, Kentucky. She says giving back is part of their mission. Has been since her parents ran this place for years.
So service is one of our core values here at Becca's Place. And so we were always raised in a family where service is important and having a servant's heart.
This year, the Becca's Place team raised more than $6,500 for this shopping trip, making sure that the final 50 children on the Salvation Army Angel Tree list in Hardin County have gifts under their trees.
Hot Wheels.
Athletes turned altruists, hoping to do their part to spread some holiday cheer.
And I think it just means a lot that we can just be together and have fun.
It's good to serve our community.
Kids and serve our community, yes.
All right, thanks to Brian for sharing that. Great to see them seeing themselves and their fellow kids and wanting to give back in small but still meaningful ways. A reminder, if you're ever aware of something going on in our community, throughout Wave Country that you think is really worth celebrating the wonderful, positive work that they are doing, make sure to reach out to us. We have our What's Good franchise and the different connecting points. You can reach out to us here at Wave News. We always do remind you after those franchises play, but make sure any which way you can reach out to us. We'll make sure to connect and see if we can talk to the folks, the stakeholders in those stories. We do want to share it with you for sure. Here is the story I want to share with you that's much broader in a consumer vein, and because most of us need our cars to get from point A to point B and go about our daily lives. Right now, owning a car, and we understand from the get-go, it goes far beyond just that initial sticker price. It's about the gas, the maintenance, everything you need to keep it rolling. Well, new data from Bankrate found the average cost overall of car ownership has risen. It's gone up 3.1% year over year. So in tonight's Watching Your Wallet consumer series, investigator Rachel DePompa takes a look at the hidden costs that right now we may not think about quite consciously.
Bankrate took a look at all the costs that affect you once you drive a vehicle off the lot. We're talking about things like the cost of car insurance, maintenance, repairs, gas, and taxes. Bankrate found on average, Americans spend about $6,800 a year just on ownership costs alone. Shannon Martin, an insurance expert with Bankrate, says that's about $575 a month, and that's in addition to a lease or a car loan payment. She also says it's important to talk to your car insurance company before you switch vehicles.
It's really important for drivers to get quotes on different types of vehicles before they settle on a car. That way they can make sure it fits within their car insurance budget.
On average, Americans spend around $1,600 a year on gas.
Nationally, we spend around $1,400 a year in the cost of maintenance and repairs. We do think that those rates might increase as we move into 2026 because we know that the tariffs have started to roll out and that will impact the cost of vehicle parts.
She says research a vehicle before you buy and see what type of cars have the lowest need for repairs as well. She says also take care of the car you do have. Do the routine oil changes, check your tires. It will keep your vehicle on the road longer to keep your budget under control. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
All right, as we round out our stories tonight, just a bit of a warning from right now. Detectives in Meade County, police are searching for the person that they think broke into a smoke shop and then left some clothes behind. So take a look. We had one photo. The first one is of the suspect who was caught on security video during this burglary at the Crown Smoke Shop. So that'll be, we're going to go back to image number 2 real quick. But the Meade County Sheriff's Office says this break-in happened on Thanksgiving morning. This person apparently also left an extra large gray American Eagle hoodie near the back of the building. On it are some hand-drawn covers of a record called Pierce the Veil's Misadventures. So Pierce the Veil, if you're familiar with the band, very distinct design. So the evidence is of some use perhaps to detectives. And they are asking anyone who may recognize the person in that picture right there, or if they know who owns this hoodie in particular, to give their office a call. All right. I'm going to come back into the studio for the last story of the night just to preface how this is very much in the news of the bizarre. If you love animals, understand, gosh, what could have happened to bring us to this point, the circumstances that would have led this little guy to be in a pretty awful position. But needless to say, this was out in Virginia in the Ashland area. And apparently this party animal had a little too much fun over the Thanksgiving weekend. What do we mean? This raccoon was apparently an unlikely bandit. He broke into a local ABC store. Again, this is in Virginia late on Black Friday. An animal control officer responded to the store where they found several ransacked shelves, this trash panda, then also passed out in the bathroom after having left evidence of the mess he made with the different bottles. This apparently confirmed to be very intoxicated raccoon. Was taken to the animal shelter where he slept off his hangover, and after showing no signs that he was badly hurt or injured, he was released safely back into the wild. So wanted to end with something you certainly do not see every day. Just thought it was something with a little bit of a holiday flair to share with you all. A reminder that as the day goes on, and a reminder, by the way, you can donate on Giving Tuesday to our partners at the American Red Cross. But coming back to the main page right here, that we do update this in real time as often as we can. Our digital team getting that information and sharing it on the wave3.com homepage. Our big stories, local, what's good, even national and consumer investigations, and all these kinds of stories there at your fingertips. Very easy to find here on the wave3.com homepage. And a reminder, you can always connect with us, as I like to say, in all the different ways. Wave News is present out there at your fingertips as well, whether that's the Wave Now app on your Roku, your Fire, your Apple devices at home, here connecting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. A great way to unpack some of the day's big stories to share with you all, and to, and offer a different summary of what's going on here in our community for sure. Hope you join us tonight for Wave News at 11. Meteorologist Ryan Hoke still filling in, walking us through what to expect with this cold that's going to linger at least for the next couple days for sure. Original reporting updates from Southern Indiana from our Julia Richardson, and much more to break down for you tonight. So hope you join us then. We'll be back here tomorrow at 8:05 in the Wave Now studio. Until then, make sure to stay warm out there. We'll see you soon.